10 minutes more, not more than 10 minutes.
ఎన్నిసార్లు చెప్పాను సార్ మరి నేను పెట్టాను కదా సార్ ఇందులో కూడా అయినా వాళ్ళు చూసారు కదా అలాగే ఉంటుంది.
టెక్నికల్ ప్రాబ్లం
చెప్పంటారా
చాలా
you change slides.
Good afternoon, my dear students. We are continuing on the molecular biology sessions. In the molecular biology, we have the first lesson is DNA structure, organization, and replication. DNA being the genetic material of all the animals. So each cell will be having this genetic material organized in the form of a nucleus. And we learned in the previous class that what is this DNA, how is its structure, how is it is organized in a particular cell. And ultimately, the whole are organized, they are all present in the nucleus. So we have already learned in the previous class about the DNA structure. DNA, what is the DNA mainly containing? Mainly DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. This a long nucleic acid is a polynucleotide strand of few billion bases. And such a long molecule, and their main they are constituted by nucleotides. And the nucleotides of DNA are four, the most important: adenine, guanine are the purines, thymine and cytosine are the pyrimidines. And we also learned in the previous class about the base pairing rule, which has been given by the Chargaff. And this base pairing is always a purine will be joined with a pyrimidine. That is, adenine is along with the thymine and guanine with the cytosine. In case of RNA is another molecule, ribonucleic acid. We have not yet discussed it, later on we'll do it. And this RNA is containing the ribose as the sugar, and bases are the same, and a phosphate is also present, except that the thymine pyrimidine is replaced by uracil. That is the main difference. DNA and RNA, the main differences are sugar is a deoxyribose in DNA, ribose in RNA. Whereas the bases, nitrogenous bases mainly, the pyrimidines mainly, the thymine is replaced by uracil. So if thymine is present, means ultimately it is a DNA molecule. So this is what we should understand. This DNA we also understood, we also learned that there are two strands and a double helical in nature, and it is a polymer of nucleotides, and all these things we have discussed in the last class. And there is what is important thing which we should remember is that the two strands are anti-parallel. They have polarity. One side is 5'3", another side is 5 prime, another side is 3 prime. One side is 5 prime and another side is 3 prime. Both these strands, a double helical strands, they are wound around an axis, and it is how it is being sustained in the double helical form with the help of hydrogen bonds which are being present in between guanine to cytosine, and 3 hydrogen bonds, and thymine to adenine, 2 hydrogen bonds. And now, after having basic understanding of the DNA, the DNA of a cell, when cell is multiplying, all the cells of various organisms continuously multiplies. And even from the embryology, to organize an organism, the cells need to be multiplies. During this multiplication, what is needed is the genetic material, that is the DNA, which is being present in the nucleus, need to synthesize another nucleus. And the DNA being genetic material, it should be completely newly synthesized another molecule. That is what is called as replication. Being millions of nucleotides are there in a sequence, and all this sequence are completely different from one organism to another, one individual to another. There should be high fidelity, high stringence in this mechanism. What is that? Replication. During the cell division, each daughter cell gets an exact copy of the genetic information of the mother cell. This process of copying DNA is known as DNA replication. This process of copying the DNA is known as DNA replication. How exactly the DNA is getting replicated? There are 2 helices we know, and these are all polynucleotides. They have a sequence, and this sequence is a stringent sequence. This is what is called as primary structure. It is exact. If there is a change from one place to another place, one purine or pyrimidine from one to another place, change means, that means there is a change in the nuclear material. There is going to be change in the cell itself, the living being itself. So how exactly it is being synthesized is not known for a long time. The wonderful experiments of Matthew Meselson and Franklin Stahl, these 2 people have come out with the correct mechanism how one DNA molecule can reproduce another molecule when cell division is going on. Cell division is going on and producing without having any confusion, without having any mistakes, exact replication of the DNA molecule of the mother will be transferred to the pedigree, progeny, the child. So how is been synthesizing this much large nucleus, this much large molecule of DNA, how to produce exactly another copy? People thought maybe basing on this is a new, totally new DNA is being synthesized. This is what is called as conservative replication. Is it happening? But in the experimental scene, in the experimental observations, it is found not. Then how exactly it is going on? It is by semi-conservative replication. Replication, note down, replication is semi-conservative. What does it mean? The parent DNA is having 2 strands. Yes? Yes. There is one red and there is one orange. Now, these 2 strands will be completely separated initially. And basing on that, basing on each strand, this strand and this strand, basing on that, these nucleotides, new nucleotides, one by one come and polymerized and producing another strand in the green color. So basing on one strand, continuously another strand will be produced. Like that, from the mother DNA, there will be 2 daughter DNAs, which each one is having one strand of the mother. This is the semi-conservative. What are the evidences for this? They have taken the mother DNA and initially incorporated completely the radioactive isotopes into it. Then then they have allowed this radioisotopic DNA, completely radioisotopic DNA, to replicate in the cell system. Then what they have seen is each one in the first generation. In the first generation, a peak of again the normal less. You see the normal. This is the N14 peak, and this is N15 peak. And then finally, when they saw, they have N14 peaks first. Because even though radioisotopes are there, both of them are mixing together and then producing one. And then they have done another culture. Then what they had is 2 peaks. That means completely isotopic containing ones are one side and the normal DNAs are another side. This is possible only when there is a semi-conservative replication. So replication is semi-conservative. There are 3 possibilities. One is a mother DNA molecule totally producing in the first generation itself a new DNA, which is not correct from the above evidences. And here, this is the semi-conservative. Each DNA is separated out, and the second copy is being totally synthesized on either side. And then this one again separates out like that, it goes on multiplying. Another theory only, a dispersive model. That means half of the DNA molecule in one, half of the DNA molecule is another one. In between, the gaps might be filled up, and such a possibility is there. People has looked into it, scientists, but they found it is failed. This dispersive model, conservative models are failed, and the time-tested scientific evidence has told us that semi-conservative model. So replication is semi-conservative model. What are the various steps in the DNA replication? This is important. Please note down. First one is initiation. When the DNA molecule completely is present from the nucleus, it has to come out into the initiation process. It's a long, many steps are there, we shall discuss. First one is initiation. Second one is primer synthesis. Primer synthesis. There is 2 strands. Each one is synthesized in a different way. The synthesis is done by the new strand synthesis is done by different way. On one strand, that is called as lagging strand, it is a continuous synthesis, continuous polymerization. The enzyme which joins one nucleotide to another nucleotide. The enzyme that is joining one nucleotide to another nucleotide. That is DNA synthesis. Okay, and then there is a lagging strand, and another one is lagging strand, another is a leading strand. On the leading strand, the synthesis is continuous. On the leading strand only, the synthesis is continuous. On the lagging strand, the synthesis is discontinuous. That we shall discuss. Discontinuous. And once the synthesis continuously happens completely, and later on, the primers, we have inserted in, will be removed. Primer removal. And later on, what is in the lagging strand, where this DNA, the daughter DNA, is being synthesized in the discontinuous manner, that discontinuity need to be ligated. And the last is the termination. So the steps in the replication: initiation, primer synthesis, leading strand synthesis continuous, lagging strand synthesis discontinuous, primer removal. The first starting point of the replication, a RNA primer is needed, and that will be removed, RNA piece will be removed, and it will be ligated, sutured, and then finally the whole process is terminated, and again the secondary level, tertiary level, and quaternary level conformations will be happen, and again a new nucleus will be formed. That is how the replication is. So synthesis of a new DNA from the parent DNA is replication. You see, there are two strands. This is the parent. So that means each strand should be separated. And after separation, the new nucleotides should come and then slowly join together, and then they will be forming a new strand. So for joining one nucleotide to that of the another nucleotide, an enzyme is needed, and that enzyme is a polymerase enzyme. And as it is doing the DNA, it is used for the DNA polymerization. It is called DNA polymerase. This DNA polymerase is described by Arthur Kornberg, and ultimately he got a Nobel Prize for that. You see now, each strand, each DNA molecule, and what is happening when it is committed to synthesize another DNA molecule. Where is this present? This is present in the chromosome. It is present in the nucleus. First, nucleus need to be separated into chromosomes, and the chromosomes have to be unwound into the chromatids, and then the chromatids need to be further unwound, get rid of the protein histones, and then the stretches of double helical DNAs have to be obtained. That is the first process. When cell division starts, this process, the whole thing, what is that? From the chromosome, from the DNA, from the nucleus, the chromosomes, and then they are unwound together, and then they stretched up into the double helical DNA into a linear fashion. And the whole process needs many actions of various proteins. And that we will come a little later. Now, once it is stretched into a linear double helical fashion. Now comes a certain proteins. They recognize where exactly the replication supposed to occur. The replication supposed to occur will be identified. And once it is identified, there comes various proteins. And one such important protein, about 20 proteins comes here. And one such important one is DNA A protein. This comes and exactly identifies an area where exactly it is to occur. And it will join here. And then once this is called as a origin site, ORI site. And once this site has been identified, the DNA and other proteins, slowly these two strands are being stretched apart. They are stretched apart. And this stretching process will be done by two important enzyme molecules on either side, on both sides. And this is what is called as helicase. When it is opened up, and on two sides, helicase on this side, helicase on left and right, both sides, is unwinding it completely, opening it out. So the force needed for this unwinding process, you get from ATP and the helicase enzyme. It breaks the double bonds in between the purine to pyrimidine, in between the strand hydrogen bonds, and this is the function done by helicase. It cuts the hydrogen bonds, it unwinds it forcibly, and then it uses the force of ATP. So for this purpose, ATP is needed. The DNA molecule, the proteins will be there, and then slowly, to keep this unwound, forcibly separated strands in position, there comes certain proteins which are called as SSBs, single strand binding proteins. So now the origin is identified. This has been forcibly unwound by the helicase, and that forcibly unwound one is kept in position by single strand binding proteins. Now what will happen? Once it is opened up, one side, this is the strand, the parent strand, which is having the primary sequence. It is having its sequence. Each animal will have its own sequence. T, C, thymine, cytosine, guanine, adenine, cytosine, etc. Now here, the helicase is running ahead. When this has happened, now comes immediately DNA polymerase enters into the scene. That is, it comes here. It comes also here. DNA polymerase comes. And after coming there, it invites the available nucleotides, available free nucleotides present in the cytosol. The direction of synthesis is always, the direction of new strand synthesis is always 5' to 3' direction. This is 5', this is a 3' direction. This is the proceeding. This is proceeding. And hence, when this is 5' to 3' direction, this is going on. This is 3' to 5' direction. It reads. And the most important thing is always the nucleotide that comes here is obeys the base pair rule. When thymine is here, always it invites adenine. When guanine is there, it always invites cytosine. That is how one by one, it gets thymine to adenine, cytosine to guanine, cytosines to guanine, one by one, linked together by phosphodiester bonds. And this is done by the DNA polymerase. And the synthesis is always 5' to 3'. Why 5' and 3'? The sugar numbering is always prime numbering, the pentose sugars. Right. This you can see in a gross way. This is the origin of replication. At this level, it is opened up, and this is called as a opening of the double helix, and this is origin point, and make it in the vertical position. There are two forks. This side is one fork. This side is one fork. Fork, replication fork. That's why we call it as replication fork. And once is opened up on both sides, the replication will continue. And this is the two replication forks operates. And to start with, always to start with, from nascent point, a small RNA piece is needed. Directly DNA synthesis will not occur. If initially a DNA, this is the strand dependent RNA polymerization occurs, but this occurs by one variety of DNA polymerase only. Now we should know there are about 3 kinds of DNA polymerases. DNA polymerase 1, DNA polymerase 2, and 3. In case of prokaryotes are having 3 types. Whereas eukaryote DNA polymerase is 5 varieties: alpha, beta, gamma, delta, and eta. They have, each one is having their specialties in this polymerization process. So DNA polymerase 1 of the prokaryotes is also having inherent character of RNA primer synthesis. So initially RNA primer is synthesized, and on this RNA primer, now DNA polymerase 3 will continuously join one to another following the base pairing rule and continuously synthesizing, you see that, that is the newly synthesized the DNA strand. The molecule, the strand is, new strand is being formed, the copying this one. So, and hence, this is called as a template strand, and this is a synthesizing new strand. So, there will be two leading strands. This is one, and this is another one. And there will be two lagging strands. So, the replication forks, two forks from the origin. Now, you can see a little detailed. One replication fork, we are now. One replication fork, we are enlarged. Initially, we said the strand is unwound. This is 5' to 3', and this is the 3' to 5'. And this is a primase. RNA primer has been synthesized, and this side also a primase is synthesized. And at the point of opening of the helices, the single stranded binding proteins are there. And the helicase, which is really cutting the hydrogen bonds with the help of ATP, is operating here. We all know that the large DNA molecule is initially been made into smaller knots and twists, and then compactly made a single mass to make a chromosome or a nucleus. So this is being put into various knots, put it into various twists, various bends in total. So before doing this particular process, these all knots, these all things should be made straight, opened up. And this process will be done. So this is the first thing that is being done, topoisomerases. Topoisomerases. There are two types, topoisomerase type 1 and type 2. What they do, if they are unable to open up these knots, then what they do is they cut the one strand and then they put it into linear fashion and then rejoins it and allows it. And whereas in the topoisomerase type 2s, they completely cut both the strands, and again the knots will be removed and rejoins it without any changes. So the topoisomerase, one such topoisomerase name is gyrase. In the microbes, the gyrase usually is present. So gyrase opens up the knots and then it makes it into linear stretch, and then this linear stretch, with the help of helicase, the bonds are cut, hydrogen bonds are cut, and then two strands are being opened up, and then now only here comes the DNA polymerase. The DNA polymerase initially have the primase activity, and a small RNA primer is synthesized. And once the synthesis is over, RNA synthesis, small piece of RNA synthesis of 10 base pairs is over, then it continues in the 5' to 3'. So here it can continuously synthesize, but the synthesis is always 5' to 3', and hence here the synthesis will be waiting for some time. RNA primer is needed for the DNA synthesis. That is what I said. So primase synthesize an RNA primer. This is the parent DNA. An RNA primer is there. Once RNA primer is synthesized, from there onwards, the continuous synthesis by the DNA polymerase synthesize the new strand of DNA continuously. It is going on. So on the template, it is reading is from 3 to 5, but synthesis is from 5 to 3, and it is a continuous synthesis. And DNA polymerase, so new DNA going on. A new DNA polymerase removes RNA and replaces with DNA. This is the last step. And then finally, ligation occurs. This is ligation occurs. This is in the continuous strand synthesis. So when it is over, the process, one particular length of DNA mother, one strand of the mother DNA is replicated, second one has come, and then the DNA polymerase of different, that is, this one will be done by DNA polymerase 3, whereas this process, cutting this small area, filling it up, this small area, is by DNA polymerase 1, and it will completely goes, and only the last two gap is connected by third type of enzyme ligase. So three kinds of DNA polymerase 3, DNA polymerase 1, and ligase part. This is another one. So three mechanisms totally continuously produces a strand on the leading strand. So daughter strand is now complete on the leading strand. What is happening on the lagging strand? So this is the mechanism. They have shown it. DNA polymerase 3, one by one nucleotides are coming, and then base paired according to base pair rule, continuously synthesizing. On the lagging strand, you see, the upper one is a leading strand. We have seen it. This one has this direction is 5 to 3 direction, but synthesis can occur only 5 to 3 direction. So from here, continuously this cannot go, and hence it waits for some time. It produces another small RNA primer at this point. This is the one. And then the same mechanism, DNA polymerase 3, DNA polymerase 1, RNA primer, or primase you say, and then DNA polymerase 3 continuously go on producing continuously. So 5' to 3' is being synthesized in pieces. So one side it is coming on pieces, and one side it is continuous. So on the leading strand, where the continuous process is going on, is called leading strand, and where the discontinuous DNA synthesis is occurring is on the lagging strand. So now on both sides, similarly it happens. So DNA is being unzipped, or otherwise the helix are being knots are being removed. That is the topoisomerase. This is shown in a different diagram. So the DNA is being unwound by topoisomerases, knots are being removed, and a helicase is being present here. Another name for this topoisomerase one, there are many topoisomerases. One example of topoisomerase is gyrase. So in the microbes, you will come across gyrase, they call it gyrase. And a helicase, the main one, which is unwinding forcibly, cutting it. Single strand binding proteins. And this is a DNA polymerase. Here, the DNA primase and the polymerase. Here also, initially, the bottom, DNA starting point is always primase, and then primase and polymerase both together. So now, like this, continuous strand, like this, discontinuous strands happening. So this process initially is not known. People were thinking on both strands continuously the DNA is getting replicated. The strands are getting replicated. But it is the couple, Wakazaki, Reizi Wakazaki, Tsuneko Wakazaki. Both of them, they had their contribution that there is one strand where the DNA synthesis is not continuous, but it is discontinuous in small pieces. And hence, on their name, they are called as on lagging strand. The synthesis is Wakazaki pieces. Wakazaki pieces. This is occasionally the short note, Wakazaki pieces. These two people, the Reizi and Wakazaki, they have been working from Japan and during the Second World War, and where the Reiji has been involved in the accident of Hiroshima attack. And he was there, unfortunately. And he had a large dose of radiation. And ultimately, in a short age, in a less time, he actually was died because of leukemia, blood cancer. So finally, lastly, the primers, I said, are being removed. Primers are removed, and then the pieces are joined by the ligases, and totally slowly one by one, all the pieces are being ligated together and producing the second one. So this side is one DNA molecule, and the down another DNA molecule continuously goes on till it completes almost to the last region. This is the ligase, how the mechanism of ligase action. This is the process of ligation. The process, it will joins the last step of the pieces Okazaki pieces synthesizing, and the DNA polymerase 3 initially, and then DNA polymerase 1 in these small pieces. So components required in replication: helicase, even before topoisomerase bar gyrase, DNA primase, DNA polymerase. The DNA polymerase, one part will have exonuclease. DNA polymerase 1 is having, when primer has been there, that primer has been cut and removed, and that process will be done by the DNA polymerase 1. And the DNA ligase and single strand binding proteins, these are all the requirements for the replications starting. This is again the topoisomerase, which unwinds it. So the summary is: unwinding of double helical structure of DNA, start of new DNA strand by primer, addition of new nucleotides by DNA polymerase. Here it very, very rigidly, stringently follows the base pairing rule. And then once it is completed, removal of primer. And filling in the Okazakis, filling of gaps between Okazaki fragments initially by polymerase 1, and the last step is by ligase. And once this is all over, they immediately will not wind out into double helical structure. Before that, there is a process called as proofreading. This is the most important thing, proofreading. These polymerases, DNA polymerase 2 on one side, DNA polymerase beta and gamma on the other side, they use proofreading. They go on, they run on each new strand, and they inquires whether correctly from the parent DNA, the base pairing rule has occurred correctly or not. Occasionally, a mis-synthesizing occurs. So they identifies it immediately and then cut it, removes it, and a new base is being replaced. Whenever this process is going altered, there can be genetic material alteration, the gene alteration. There can be occasionally silent these alterations, or if it is an important point in the gene, then there is going to be genetic disease. Genetic disease may occur, or a protein which is involved in the cell cycle, if that is altered, then the cancer can occur. So proofreading and repair mechanism, if it is not being done properly, there is going to be genetic disease, there is going to be cancer. And finally, termination. The process of termination. Okay, the process of termination, that is the last terminal piece of DNA, a sizable length, cannot be further replicated. And this zone last pieces is called as telomere. telomere. And this telomere can be replicated by a specialized enzyme, and that is telomerase. And this telomerase function is not yet completely known, but few important aspects are connected to telomerase. One is apoptosis. All the certain cells, or rather majority of the cells, have lifespan. How they have the lifespan is mystery still. For some time, even the epithelial cell, for some time it is viable, and later on it will have its natural death. Natural programmed cell death is apoptosis, note down. And this does exist in majority of the cells, And once its function is over, once its life is over, that particular cell is going to die normally. If this process exists forever, and by chance it is misled, or the process is somehow deranged, then that cell may continuously grow occasionally. That means continuous cellular multiplication may go existing continuously, and that means it is going to be cancerous cell proliferation. So telomerase somehow is controlling the cancerous proliferations. And by any chance, the last piece I said, which cannot be replicated in some people because of the telomerase inactivity, may go very short. And there is going to be premature senility. Some people looks very old at a very young age. It is because of telomere inactions. So telomere problems. And once this all process is properly completed, then comes the DNA molecule wind around histone proteins, producing nucleosome. Few nucleosomes, they continuously pack together, and then nuclei in the prokaryotes, it is called as nucleoid, because the total DNA molecule length is lesser when compared to the eukaryotes. In the eukaryotes, these small nucleosomes gets packed up and producing chromatids, and chromatids will produce a chromosome, and finally all the chromosomes diffuse together and forming the nucleus. And the cell cycle events occurs, and a second new generation cell will exist. After completion, cleavage of the cell, new cell will come. So for producing a new from the parent, the daughter cell, the whole processes need to be occurring without any mistakes, high fidelity it should. And in this process, we have some applications. Inhibitors of DNA replication. Selectively, if we can inhibit the replication in microbes, it is of use for us, because microbes invades us and then producing diseases. To kill them, certain antibacterial agents we are using in the clinics. They are, one is ciprofloxacin, a very widely used antibacterial for gram-negative bacteria. And this ciprofloxacin inhibits the action of bacterial DNA gyrase. That is the bacterial DNA which is been initially present in the knots and twists and everything, and compactly packed up. To produce its daughter, it needs to be opened up. And this opening we have learned before, that done by topoisomerase, and DNA gyrase is one of the variety of topoisomerase, and this gyrase is being inhibited by ciprofloxacin. Nalidixic acid, another one, and novobiosine. So inhibitors of DNA replication, this is one category. And another category, by inhibiting the replication, we have certain cancer, anti-cancer drugs. This is etoposide, adriamycin, doxorubicin, 6-mercaptopurine, 6-fluorouracil. The first three, etoposide, adriamycin, doxorubicin, the human topoisomerase, inhibitors. So that means when cancer cell want to produce its daughter cell, the links that are being present, the knots present, the helix that are being present, the twists that are being present, they are all will not be opened up, and replication cannot proceed. So this is the function, the mechanism of these three drugs. They are used in as an anti-cancer drugs. 6-mercaptopurine, mercapto sulfur, purine. A purine ring at 6th position is having a sulfur. Human DNA polymerase. This, what will happen when a purine molecule is being summoned and DNA polymerase want to wind it at the daughter DNA, the daughter strand, then what will happen is, instead of a normal purine, that is the adenine or guanine is trying to come over there, another mercaptopurine will come and it will be joining there, and then next step the polymerase cannot do. It cannot further polymerize the strand beyond that. So this is what is the polymerase inhibitors. And 5-fluorouracil, thymidylate synthase. We need the purine nucleotides, pyrimidine nucleotides. And pyrimidine nucleotides are synthesized by a pyrimidine nucleotide synthesis. Specifically, thymidylate is synthesized by thymidylate synthesis. Even before replication, we need to have raw material. Thymidylate is needed. These nucleotides are needed. And then thymidylate cannot be produced at all, and hence the replication process becomes difficult. So that is how fluorouracil, 5-position uracil is having a fluorine molecule, and that cannot be used up. That stops replication and stops the synthesis of new cells, and they cannot produce new cells, and the cancerous process is stalled. So this is about replication, DNA replication, and the inhibitors of replication and uses. So the whole sole purpose of DNA replication to synthesize a new total DNA molecule for the production of the daughter cells, and totally from the embryo, an organism will continuously be produced by the mitotic and meiotic processes of the cells. Cells will be increased, and then the cells will be produced, and specialized cells will be produced. And finally, the replication is the synthesis of new DNA molecule. And from the DNA molecule, we also have half of the same process to produce proteins. To produce proteins from one of the strand of the DNA, we need to, in the similar fashion, we need to produce an mRNA copy. And this process now is called as transcription. Replication, transcription, almost similar, but the replication is complete, DNA is totally produced, and a new copy of DNA will be coming out. In the DNA, in the whole large DNA, we know there are genes. That means one particular stretch of DNA only out of such a large DNA. In the total DNA, which we call it as a genome, from number 1 to some billion nucleotides, is completely called as genome. In this genome, few thousands or few millions of nucleotides polymer strand is called as a gene. And this gene produces its information, it replicates the information or onto a mRNA molecule. And now, because it is an RNA molecule, this is called as a transcription. If it is the DNA, it is replication. If it is in the RNA, it is a transcription. And this RNA will be removed from that area, going into the ribosomes and out of the nucleus after certain processes, and going into the ribosome and produces a protein. And lastly, the process of the DNA producing another DNA is replication. And the DNA, which containing gene, producing an mRNA, and mRNA is going into the ribosomes. And in the ribosomes, another mechanism totally is present and calls amino acids and joins them. And then a polyamino acid strands, that is a protein, will be produced. And protein will give us various characters of an individual organism. So this process, the whole thing, and Crick and Watson, and mainly Crick, has called this as the dogma, the nature's dogma. The dogma is the DNA, the information is flowing onto the mRNA, and is information flowing into the proteins. This is called as central dogma. Central dogma. Thank you. Hope you have understood about this replication process. And basing on this, we shall continue in the next classes the transcription, translation processes, and protein synthesis processes. Thank you very much. Any doubts? Now, if you read the books, you can understand easily. Doubts? Is there any doubts from you? Dear students, do you have any doubts?
ఎప్పుడైనా నాకు పోస్ట్ పోలే అన్నారా సార్? రాదు. నిన్న ఆయన క్లాస్కి వీడియో లింక్
Thank you.